Oh! Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, that's... Tower, you're seeing this airplane just crash into you. Oh my God. Oh my God.
There was no warning from the pilot. There was no like physical warning either. I didn't feel like anything was wrong until kind of just like the second the wheels touched the ground. Then it all kind of went mayhem from there.
Fire department's on site. Upside down. Everybody, most people appear to be okay. We're all getting off. Some smoke going on.
A Delta plane crashing and flipping upside down at the airport in Toronto. Reuters reporting that it was a flight from Minneapolis and that all passengers and crew are accounted for. The scene says that 8 people are injured. Look at this plane. It is literally upside down. There is no word on how this happened. You can see there's a lot of snow on the ground in Toronto. It happened moments ago.
This is a miracle. There are very few instances globally where an airplane ends up literally on its back. I mean, it's remarkable. Now, I've looked at some early data, as you both know, the NTSB will sign a memorandum of understanding with the Canadian Authority probably within the hour. Because Canada will take authorization of the investigation. But they have an agreement with the United States, so that'll be executed hopefully very shortly because Delta is a U.S. company. The remarkableness of it, as we were just saying, is the right wing's off. The front nose gear is up. I mean, it's out. We don't see the main gears. At 500 feet, the aircraft was just only doing 126 miles an hour, so it was slow. And it was descending at almost 1,100 feet a minute. Now, at a normal glide path at 500 feet, you'd only be doing about 500 feet descent rate or 400 feet, 600 at the most. So it had an aggressive descent rate at 500 feet. Wow. It'll be interesting to see where the throttles were and where the thrust was at that point. I'm just, again, guessing. I haven't seen any live video yet, but...
yeah, that's what we're waiting for.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, absolutely. No, your information is very helpful here. 70-mile-an-hour winds. At what point would air traffic control say, you know what, go back up, let's land you somewhere else, or let's circle for a little bit, hope these winds die down? At what point do they say don't land with winds?
Well, that's another interesting. The captain's authority holds more weight than you can imagine. The airport authority themselves in Canada could close the airport if they felt winds and it was unsafe to operate at the airport, period. If the captain has a form that he can look at in his computer or book that actually shows maximum winds, maximum crosswind, and maximum headwind, and of course tailwind, you don't ever land in any more than 10 knot of a tailwind ever. So they're going to go back and look at that immediately too. 70 knots is a lot. So unless it's coming right up and down the runway, and can I add one thing to that?
Please.
Technically, can I add one technical thing to that? The way that works is you have a speed that's called VREF, and that's the speed that you normally operate on under temperature and wind conditions of a normal day. And so if the winds are 70 miles an hour, you either add anything over 10 knots, you add half of the wind plus any gust. So in this case, you'd have to have added almost 50, 60 knots to the approach speed. Well, they were way slow. And I'd have to go back and look at what the exact winds were. But yeah, at one point you would say, as a captain, if I'm descending at 1,100 feet a minute at 500 feet and I'm slow, then I would be executing the go around.
Yeah, you would be putting the nose back up and going back up for another round potentially, as I understand it.
Or find an alternate airport. Absolutely.
Senior correspondent Eric Shawn has been gathering the latest information here. Hi, Eric.
Hello, Martha. It is a dramatic and shocking sight when you look at that airplane. It is a Delta flight that took off from Minneapolis MSP Airport earlier today and landed about 2:13 or so in Toronto Pearson International Airport when it suddenly flipped over on its back, ending belly up. Thankfully, as we have said, that there were no deaths. There were 8 injuries reported. Officials and paramedics on the scene say of those injuries, 1 person is in critical condition. The rest are mild to moderate injuries.
This is going to yet again raise the concern about FAA staffing, air traffic control staffing. There has been this talk about maybe staff cuts at the FAA as a part of President Trump's effort to trim down the federal workforce. This is going to feed into all of these recent incidents, and the safety of the total air traffic system is going to be very much a part of the conversation.
The left-wing media is already accusing Trump of being a cause of this airline crash. But what's really to blame? Joining me now is Scott Patillo, retired commercial airline pilot, and Kyle Bailey, aviation expert and former FAA safety team representative. Kyle, I got to ask you, do the potential cuts to the FAA and other